Hey there, guys. Welcome to our Inside Education A Plus for Energy grant project. So we are going to be working on one this year called Net Zero Living Space Colony Style, basically with the theme of in order to go to Mars, where it's a really hostile environment, there's not a really good viable energy sources and resources are very limited. How are we going to develop technologies to survive that journey and building a colony that will ultimately make life here on Earth better? And that we can take care of this planet before leaving and going to another one. So there's a lot to unpack, and I'm going to try to keep it simple, but you can read this later or pause. But basically, that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be using microbits and coding. As we've learned with our microbits, that we can code circuits with them, we can make systems with them, we can make them do things, and things that would save some energy. So I don't know, some examples are like I walk into this classroom when there's no motion for a certain amount of time, I think it's like 5 minutes, the lights turn off. And then as soon as I move around, the lights come back on. Other lights, like street lights, as soon as it gets dark, a certain degree of dark, the lights will come off and then they'll come back on. You could have temperature sensors like your thermostat, where if it gets to a certain temperature, it kicks in and it warms everything up, and the opposite and cools it back down. Automated watering systems. So some of my students have experience with those. It's where a system can sense when the soil is dry, turn on a water pump and water it. So why is coding and automation making everything more energy efficient? Well, because it takes out the human error. I forget to water my plants and then they all die, and that's not efficient. Or I water them too much. So if I can have a computer who can only think in ones and zeros in the input that it gets and the output that it can perform when you code it properly, I'm going to waste less resources, waste less energy. We also have the option of using more energy efficient resources like solar energy. So a lot of you have solar powered microbits. And then also environmental monitoring is a piece of that too, where if I can measure what's going on in the environment around me, elicit some sort of change, and then measure it again, I can see that data that shows me what's happening. So any of those are our options of what we can do in this project. And so we're going to try to build these amazing fictional space colonies, and it's going to be awesome. So this project has a lot of different pieces. So right now I'm kind of explaining D and E here. What's our environmental monitoring and our project goals. Basically, by the end, guys, what you're going to do is you are going to learn how to code a microbit, and you are going to make an automated system. You're going to make a poster like this. Now, this is for an Earth system, but you guys are going to be making a Mars system. How does it, and all, of course, describe how it helps life here on Earth. So in these systems, what eventually your goal is going to be is you're going to describe your system. How does that automation or environmental monitoring or energy efficient sources, how does that work? You're going to show me codes and a picture of it, an actual picture versus you can do these like visual diagrams too that work. And then you're going to learn how to draw a circuit diagram using a microbit. You're going to talk about energy transformations, which is a really key important piece because we need to remember every time we transform energy is also a chance of wasting and losing energy too. And then finally, and this is probably the most important part, is you're going to do a contribution to life on Earth and Mars. So this part will be a little bit different for you guys, but it's just how does this help life? How does it make it better? How does this help our future be a little more green? Okay, so some ideas. I kind of talked about a few things already, but I'll link all of these ideas in the project. But you can talk about electrical conductors and energy efficiency. This is the one that sort of outlines that project. We're going to talk about living space, which is right here from Let's Talk Science. Those of you who were with me a few years ago, you've done this one before, but it's basically environmental monitoring, comparing it to the space station, and then how to make life on Earth a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. Some other examples are things like the automated watering system. So we have an entire website that explains this to you. I'll link all of this in the project, my beautiful angels. And then this just shows you how do you code it. And what I love about this one is it breaks down, because I didn't understand what half these words meant when I made this code. So I broke it down as what everything means so that it works the most efficiently possible. Some of you, there's these great energy awareness lessons from Microbit that you can try. And even just being able to code to share awareness about energy is going to increase efficiency as well. You're just going to be able to explain it. And then we have these amazing climate action kits from Inksmith that we're going to use. Now I sent home with you. Everyone has different kits. Everyone has different things. Some of you have a motor. What can you do with a motor? A motor makes things move. Well, what if you sensed something in the temperature, and if it gets too hot, you open the door to let in the cool air? Now, obviously, we're not going to do that on Mars because you can't let in the air on Mars, but maybe like an automatic door or an automatic venting system that vented into the air filter or something. You have to remember that what the coding you're actually doing, you can apply to things that are in your imagination as long as they're within the realm of possibility and not complete science fiction. So I hope that gives you an idea of the project, using the kits that you have at home, building an automated system, explain how it's going to help the environment and life here on Earth. And in your presentation, I'm going to add this in later. You're also going to make a little video because I need a video like this that I can chop up and make a final project showcase. So that's it. And I hope that helps explain everything. All right, let's get going. Let's go to Mars, guys. Hey?